Coming up on this episode of the Rock Marauder, beautiful calm waters ripe for rock hounding, animal bones, my nemesis broken glass, and a find that leaves me speechless. It's a good one, so stick around. Howdy, this is the Rock Marauder speaking. I hope you're doing well. As you might have guessed, today I'm headed back out to the lake, and my quarry once again is Agate. It's a beautiful sunny day, and this time I'm out here during the week, so there should be quite a few less boats and other people out and about, which is just the way I like it, and it makes agate hunting all the more enjoyable. So join me, why don't you, and let's see what treasures lie ahead. I could not have asked for better conditions. There's almost zero wind, and I'm the only person out here. And I didn't know it yet, but today would end up being one of the most bountiful days for hunting that I've had in a long time. And the luck starts early when I randomly grab a pile of sand and rocks and start sifting through it to uncover a neat little agate nodule. I call it that because of its shape, which is almost perfectly rounded to resemble the shape of the vesicle that it formed in. There's not much else to see on this one otherwise, but I don't find agates too often that are so tidily put together. And it looks like I came here right in time to witness the hatching of tadpoles. There's so many of them, all these little black dots in the water. Plus, I always stop to enjoy any flowers whenever I see them. One thing I don't enjoy stopping for is trash, but I'll still pick it up, like this abandoned tub of night crawlers, and a bonus, the lid to the tub. Oh boy, I'm finding lots of trash. I might have to change my name to the Trash Marauder after this one. Like, what on earth is this? Okay, at least I know what this is. I have now found not one, but two citrusy fruits from being out here in the last week or so. Yeah, all of this has got to go. Alright, let me guess, more trash. Oh no, it's not. It's actually an agate. Oh, good, okay, I was getting worried for a second. And check out this one. It's an interesting little water level agate that's attached to this deep maroon mass of unbanded agate material. And I wanted to show off the translucency of my finds today. Sometimes I try to make friends with the wildlife out here, but this dragonfly didn't want anything to do with me. So I'll stick to finding agates. And here we go, here's another really cool find. A vein agate, as this one is called, demonstrates how the minerals that form agates seep down into the cracks of the host rock and attach to the sides of the crevice to form literal veins of agate. And I was quite surprised to stumble upon this, which appears to be the feeding site of some predator. I can't put my finger on exactly what kind of animal could do this, but there is bone and fur from a deer absolutely everywhere. And just like that poor deer, there is no escape for me. But for me, it's from trash. And what the heck is this? Anyway, I'm gonna get back to it. And I really like the look of this one. My old friend, the moss agate. And I was easily able to identify it as a moss agate because of the few blotches of bright red, semi-translucent agate that really pop against the chaotic pinkish-white banding which encompass the entire specimen. Phew, that was a lot of words. Let's take a look at this little guy. This water level agate for some reason reminded me of a cake if it were orange flavored. I'm sure you can see why. I'm not typically one for naming my finds, but I think I'll call this one Dreamsicle cake. Like I said before, I'm not only out here to find agates. When I stumble upon something like this, I'm definitely going to put it in the pock. And this is a beautiful example of a porphyritic igneous rock. It's called that because of the large crystals in the rock that are surrounded by the finer grained ground mass. At this point in the day, the water was so calm and the sun was in the right spot behind the clouds that I was easily able to spot dozens of glass shards lying on the lake bed. So maybe one day I can walk these shores barefoot with no fear, but today is not that day. And just when I thought I was picking up yet another piece of glass, it turned out to not be glass at all, but instead a gorgeous piece of highly translucent agate, which, when held up to the sun, displays the banding contained within. If I knew anything about making jewelry, I would definitely put this one on a necklace. And the good fortune keeps on coming with an incredible eye agate, which might be one, if not the largest eye I have ever found on an agate. I imagine this would turn into an even more remarkable specimen if you were to polish the face of the stone containing the eye. Here's another cool find. It's your standard fortification agate, and it's small, but I can still appreciate the detail packed in there, not to mention the gorgeous colors of the bands. Okay, I'll admit, this one felt a little bit like cheating since it was sitting so obviously right on the shore that all I had to do was catch a glimpse of it and I knew right away what it was. And it's quite the looker. What really strikes me about this one is the almost pink color of the middle section that sits right below the white cap of the agate. Plus, this one boasts some really nice translucency, which makes it glow in the sunshine. It was such a good day for hunting, and I could not stop finding agates everywhere I looked. These are the kind of days that remind me just how thrilling and enjoyable being a rockhound can be. It's also astounding to know that the majority of people who frequent this lake, or most places in general, have no idea that these small pieces of natural art are just sitting here and have been for thousands, if not millions or billions of years. At this late point in the day, the pock was getting pretty full, and I felt quite accomplished, but there was still so much shoreline to cover. So I made myself a promise that I would continue until I found just one more agate. Then I would call it a day. And boy, am I glad I did, because check this out. I simply could not believe it. These are the moments I live for. Clocking in at roughly the size of a kumquat, this clunker displays some smoky gray banding that pops out at you from behind the rust stains. And there's clearly something happening on the right side of the agate face over here, but I can't be sure quite exactly what it is. I honestly don't have that much more to say about it, but I think it speaks for itself pretty well. And I clearly couldn't think of anything clever to say in the moment either, but you can see the unmistakable sense of joy on that face. So now I felt confident and satisfied to end the adventure on a high note, so it was back to the paddleboard I went. But before I reached my vessel, I noticed something quite strange just a few yards away from where I had left the paddleboard, and to my surprise and displeasure, I realized what I was looking at was the remains of yet another deer. It most likely drowned, but what stumped me more was how I had not noticed it today, or when I was last out here less than 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm no biologist, so I don't know how fast an animal of that size can decompose in the water, so if anyone has some insight, please let me know. But for now I'm going to continue on my way, and I'm going to make sure to not drink any of the water in the lake. Once again, thank you for joining me on this calming adventure. I hope you learned something. While I don't claim to be an expert on all things agates or geology in general, I try my best to explain what I see with the knowledge I have. So just remember that this is for entertainment purposes only, and you should take everything I say with a hearty handful of salt. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing and check out my other adventures on the Rock Marauder channel. This is the Rock Marauder, signing off.